It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey there, badass women of the world. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, your feminist life coach and psychotherapist, here to challenge the crap we've been conditioned to believe and help you stand tall in your power. Today, we're diving into something sneaky, something we do so often, so reflexively, we barely even notice anymore. Over-apologizing. Yep, that knee-jerk sorry when someone else bumps into you. That automatic apology when you're just existing, for speaking up, for having a boundary, for taking too long to text back, for being a damn human. Sound familiar? Yeah, unfortunately, me too. And we're going to unpack where that comes from, how it messes with our confidence, and most importantly, how to stop. Because ladies, you are not a burden, you are a force. Okay, my friends, let's start with the roots of this habit. And spoiler alert, this is not a personal flaw. This is a cultural conditioning that's been spoon-fed to us since before we could walk. And I don't want you to think that I'm talking at you and lecturing you and pointing fingers, because let me tell you, I do the same thing, and I still, even as empowered a woman as I am, I still find myself doing this out of habit. And in the opening, when I talked about apologizing when someone bumps into us, that's my go-to. I do this constantly. And I know I need to stop. And so I've gotten so much better. But because this has been a habit that I have engaged in for, about 5 decades, it takes some time to unlearn it. You know, from childhood, girls are taught to be sweet, accommodating, polite, and emotionally responsible for everyone else's comfort. We're taught to smooth things over, to avoid conflict, to say yes with a smile, even when we mean hell no. And honestly, research backs this up. A 2010 study from Psychological Science found that women and men apologize equally when they believe they've done something wrong. But here's the kicker. Women simply believe they've done something wrong more often. Let that sink in for a second. This means that we are walking around carrying guilt that does not even belong to us. We apologize for existing in ways that aren't deemed feminine enough. We apologize to avoid being seen as aggressive, cold, bossy, or, heaven forbid, confident. So it's not just about words. It's about an entire lifetime of being told to shrink, to second guess, to submit, to be less than. But here's the radical truth. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to speak with volume, lead with clarity, challenge the norm, draw your boundaries, and take your damn time. You do not owe anyone an apology for being whole, powerful, or present. You were not born to shrink. You were born to take up space with purpose. You know, over apologizing truly holds us back. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the impact of over apologizing, because this habit does more than just annoy us in hindsight. It actively sabotages us. Over apologizing can absolutely sabotage your authority, no matter the setting. Whether you're in the boardroom pitching a game-changing idea, on a date when you're just being your authentic self, or navigating the daily chaos of motherhood. When we say sorry without cause, we are unconsciously signaling that we are in the wrong, that we are less than. It puts us in a submissive, deferential position, even when there's nothing to feel sorry for. And here's the kicker. That small word can dilute your impact. It weakens your message. It undermines your presence. And it gives others subconscious permission to talk over you, to dismiss your contributions, or simply not to take you seriously. One unnecessary sorry can make you seem uncertain. Stack up a dozen, and you start to disappear, my friends. And ladies, we are not here to disappear. We are here to be seen and to be freaking heard by the world. And also, this over-apologizing unnecessarily, it affects your internal power. And that, ladies, is where the real damage festers. Every single time you utter an unnecessary apology, you are not just softening your words, you are chiseling away at your self-worth. You're reinforcing the toxic belief that you are inherently wrong, that your very presence is a problem, that your needs are an inconvenience. You begin to internalize the lie that you're too much, too loud, too needy, and that you need some kind of permission slip to simply exist. Over time, this erodes your confidence from the inside out. And girl, you do not need to apologize for breathing. Let me say that again. You do not need to apologize for breathing, for existing, for simply being there. You deserve to take up space in every damn room, every conversation, and every relationship. Without guilt, without shrinking, without one single damn sorry. Let's just quickly reframe a few of the classics that we utter. Sorry I'm late turns into, thanks for waiting, I appreciate your patience. Sorry to ask becomes, I have a question. Sorry I'm emotional becomes, I'm passionate about this. Power shift, right? Because words matter. And you are allowed to own your time, your thoughts, your feelings, and your damn presence. All right, let's go a little bit deeper and get into the juicy stuff. Let's talk about how to break this habit and step into unapologetic confidence with some very actionable steps that you can start today. Step number 1 is our foundation. We need to build awareness. Start by noticing when and where you're apologizing unnecessarily. This means paying very close attention not just to your spoken words, but also your texts, emails, DMs, and even your internal dialogue. Keep a simple tally on your phone or a notepad over the course of a few days. When do those sorry reflexes show up? Is it when you express a need? Ask a question? take up space. Document these patterns without judgment, because awareness is the first and most powerful step in rewriting this habit. When you start to see the triggers, you can begin to shift the story. Step number 2, pause before you speak. And ladies, let me tell you, as somebody who is incredibly outspoken and impulsive, this is one I struggle with, because I feel like my impulse to speak just happens and I don't think about it. My mother would verify this because she told me growing up all the time, you don't think before you speak. Yep, I know. And so when I was trying to undo this over apologizing, when I first became aware of this, when I really stepped into my feminism and being a very strong, empowered feminist female, this was one of the things that I had to work on. And little secret, I'm still working on it. Like I said, this is a hard one for me because I have something to say a lot. And so pausing is a struggle. So I just want to acknowledge that, because when we over apologize, it goes back to that instinctive thing, right? Where we're taught that we have to apologize for everything. So before you let that sorry slip out, take a beat. Literally pause. Ask yourself, did I genuinely mess up here? Did I cross a line? Did I hurt someone or act in a way that warrants an apology? If the answer is no, then hold that sorry. Do not speak it. Instead, pivot to something more empowered. Try leading with gratitude, with thanks for your patience, or clarity. Here's what I meant. This pause gives you the power to choose your words with intention rather than falling into old conditioning. With time, this literal 1-second shift becomes a lifelong flex of confidence. And again, I get how hard this one is, because depending on how many decades of this BS you have behind you, it's hard to unlearn something so incredibly ingrained. But I promise you, pausing before you speak is incredibly powerful, not just for when we over apologize, but for any time where we feel the emotions bubbling up and we want to get our message across and we want it to be accurate. So pausing before you speak, really, really important. And step number 3, create your power phrases. This is one of my favorites. Make a personalized arsenal of bold, confident alternatives to sorry. These are your go-to statements that convey respect, clarity, and ownership without self-blame. Think of them as your verbal armor. So start with a few basics like, thank you for your understanding, or let's find a solution, or here's my perspective. Practice saying them out loud, because repetition builds confidence. And when we're setting boundaries, oh, girls, it's so hard to say no without apologizing. And again, I'll throw myself under the bus here. It's one that I continue to struggle with. If somebody asks me something, if I don't pause, my knee-jerk reaction is, oh, I'm so sorry, but I can't do that. And I have this fake sense of confidence that I'm enforcing a boundary because I said no, but I wrapped it up in a sorry sandwich, so it takes away the power of my no. So, if you have to enforce a boundary, it is simply no, or I'm unable to do that. Not, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Stop apologizing. All right, number 4, rewire your narrative. Because your internal dialogue shapes how you show up in the world. So let's rewrite it. Start affirming bold, liberating truths daily. I have a right to speak up. My needs are valid and deserve respect. Taking up space isn't rude, it's revolutionary. Write those down, ladies. Put them on sticky notes. Make them your phone background, whatever keeps them in your line of sight. Say them out loud, even if it feels awkward. And again, I say this as somebody who has looked in the mirror and said to herself, I am a strong, powerful woman. You know what? When I say it, when I used to, I would cringe. But then I started saying it with confidence. And then I started laughing because it was just funny after a while that I don't even have to say this because guess what? I started believing it. Because the more that you affirm your worth, the more natural it becomes to walk through the world unapologetically. This isn't just woo-woo, it's neuroscience. Literal neuroscience, because repetition literally rewires your brain. So keep going. Make these truths your new default setting. I promise you, it sounds weird, but I want every single woman listening to this to feel the freedom that I feel in being your true, genuine self, for taking up space in this world, for screaming at the top of your lungs that you matter and that you're powerful, because you are. When I finally started believing the hype that I was pumping myself up with, let me tell you, I feel like an unstoppable force, and I want you to feel the same. Every time I get a new patient in my therapy practice or a new client in my coaching business, I am so excited because guess what? I've got another woman that I get to transform into such a powerful warrior. So again, I say this as somebody who has lived this. I felt small. I felt unsure. I lacked confidence. And then I came into my own. I rewrote my future. I redid my present. And let me tell you, life has thrown so much crap at me lately. I've been blessed with many crises lately. But you know what? It does not diminish who I am. I am standing taller and prouder and bolder because I know my place in this world, and I want you to feel the same. And before I continue with this list, these last two, I want to tell you, if you are having trouble with this, please reach out to me. I would love to help you with this. My passion is to turn you into the badass that you are. It's there. It's inside of you. Let me help you bring it out. All right. Number 5. Again, this one might feel weird, but role play assertiveness. Grab a trusted friend, a therapist, a coach, or even just your journal and start rehearsing real-life scenarios. Think about those situations where you usually default to sorry, like asking for what you need, giving feedback, or disagreeing with someone, and practice navigating them unapologetically. Say it out loud. I need more time on this project. Or, I disagree and here's why. Or, no, that doesn't work for me. Try on different tones, different phrases, and body language. And again, mirror work helps too. Look yourself in the eye and speak with conviction. Because the goal is not perfection, it's progress. The more you practice assertiveness in a safe space, the more natural it will feel out in the wild. And again, at first, it might feel clunky or even scary. But that is the sweet spot of growth. Lean into it, ladies. And finally, last step, celebrate every win. Every single time you catch yourself stopping that reflexive sorry and choosing to stand in your power instead, acknowledge it, loud and proud. Say, hell yes, look at me breaking chains today. Do a little dance, fist pump, write it down in your journal. Tell your accountability buddy. And if you work with me, oh, girl, you better be bringing it into your sessions because I want to celebrate with you. If it was appropriate, we'd pop champagne. Because these little micro moments matter. They're not small. They are freaking huge. Because every single time you resist the urge to shrink, you are laying down a new neural pathway, rewriting the script, and reclaiming your space. Do not wait for big milestones. Celebrate the hell out of these every single day victories, no matter how small they may feel to you, because you are retraining your brain, your body, and your voice. And that deserves a damn parade. All right, my queens, it is time for our quote of the week. And this one from the ever-wise Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie hits deep. She says, "We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful, but not too successful. Otherwise, you will threaten the man." Yeah, let that sink in. Because, ladies, we have all been taught, directly or indirectly, to make ourselves less so that others feel more. But not anymore. It is time to unlearn that noise. It is time to own your space, your voice, and your right to not apologize for existing, leading, feeling, creating, or simply being. So, here's your reminder for the week. You are not too much. You are not too loud, too opinionated, too bold, or too assertive. You are enough, exactly as you are, and you do not need to shrink or cushion your truth to make other people feel comfortable. You, ladies, are not here to tiptoe. You are here to rise. All right, my friends, if this episode fired you up, and I hope it did, take one step today. Replace just one sorry with something stronger. Post about it. Share it in your stories. Put it in the Hint Hive Facebook group. Tag the Hint Hive so I can hype you up. And as always, if you found this episode empowering, do your fellow badass women a favor. Share it. Text it to your bestie. Post it on your feed, or bring it up at lunch. Let's spread the unapologetic revolution far and wide. As I see more and more countries and more cities showing up as listeners of this podcast, I am so freaking excited because it means that the revolution is happening. It means that the army of female warriors is in training and we are getting equipped for battle. Ladies, until next time, keep showing up, speaking out, and owning every damn inch of your power. No apologies. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.